Good evening. Welcome. Welcome. As always, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Ms. Brown, Thomas, Green, thank you all big time. Love you much. Tonight, we, of course, are going to be discussing the coronavirus. I've put the title for tonight's show, The Virus Will Stop When the Virus Stops. It's just as simple as that. I see Miss T House is in this evening. Good evening to you. And Grant is on the live feed tonight, all the way from Delaware. Thank you. Gratefully appreciate you being here. Uh, Miss Whitney, good evening to you. Peoples, good evening. April Nicole, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There is Lisa Robinson. Someone is checking in from Houston, Texas. It is my good friend A. Powers. Always good to see you. Miss Miller is checking in from Seattle, Washington. Love you big time. Thank you. Kohler, good evening to you. Welcome, welcome. So Denise, good evening to you as well. Tonight, along with discussing the coronavirus, we'll be discussing opening up the United States entirely too soon. And we are going to be discussing the new stimulus bill. It has not passed yet. They ran into an obstacle earlier today, but I know it hasn't passed yet. I'm going to share some of the things with you that's inside of this new bill. Again, as always, anything that I speak about tonight, any night, is always first posted on our Facebook page, Injustice Investigations News. So anything you miss here, you can go back there. J-Rob, you're late. You're late. You're late. Tracy Thomas is in the house. Good evening to you. She says she's ashamed to say she's from Georgia. I was going to talk about your lieutenant governor tonight. What is his name? Dan Patrick. I know he's your lieutenant governor, but I think he's just super damn stupid. As I always say, you can think anything you want to think. It's just not always good to say what you are thinking. Be careful what you say, because once you say something, you cannot unsay it. It's already out there. Hot Pink, what's going on with you? Hot Pink is in the house tonight to keep law and order. I don't know if Spitting Fire is going to join us tonight. I spoke with her, I think, earlier today, and she may come in tonight, or she may not. I'm not for sure. I forgot to call her back. All right, J-Rock. All right. Okay, people, let's do it. Let's get into this. Two things I'm going to say first. One, either we're going to be the people's help for this virus, or we're going to be the people's prisoner. I'm speaking about the protests that are now popping up all over the United States. We cannot let a ridiculous, meaningless protest back us up into a corner and we give in just to please a selected group of people. We can't. We cannot let protesters bully us into opening up the United States too soon. We cannot let politicians bully us into opening up the United States entirely too damn soon, just to try to save the economy. The economy is fucked. It is. It's fucked. We must have people in office that has a genuine concern for the people. When we put the wrong people in office, this is what we get. Bullshit. Bullshit. When we put certain people in office, those that gave big bucks to their campaign, own them. And they call them at times like this and say, look, I gave 50 million to your campaign. Get your ass out there, tell the American people everything is fine. The deaths are decreasing in the United States. The infection rate is going down in the United States, and get the United States open back up. Whether or not a governor wants to do that doesn't mean a goddamn thing when you are bought and paid for. It's kind of like some of the NBA players or celebrities. When certain organizations come and sponsor them, here we go again. I own your ass. You're going to say what I want you to say, or I'm going to pull my sponsorship away from you. And a lot of times people come out and say shit that they know they don't believe. And most importantly, they know it's wrong. But I cannot lose my match. I cannot lose the attention that I'm getting. So whatever I have to do or say to keep my position, tell me, I'll do it, and tell me what to sign. And when you have people in office like that, again, this is what happens. This is what happens. What you think about Georgia opening up? I think it's super stupid for any state to say we need to open up the United States. Okay, I know we do. But have you done your research as to the side effects for opening up the United States entirely too soon? There's not anything logical or intelligent that a governor or Trump dumbass could say that would make earthly sense in easing up on a lot of restrictions and the United States just bam boom opening back up. The economy was here before we came. It's here now. It will be here when we leave. There are probably hundreds of side effects or more that will come with opening up too soon. Here's what Georgia Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said. I think it was back in 2019, I think, and they pulled it back up today. He said, there are more important things than living. There are more important things than living. Georgia's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Now, with that being said, with him saying that should trouble all of us tonight. The state of his mind. It should trouble us all. I can't think of nothing more goddamn important than living. I can't. So why do we say super stupid shit? Well, we say it because we believe it. Depending upon who you are, what you have, and what you don't have. If you are facing losing an election or losing big bucks, what do you do? What do you do? You do what is necessary to keep hold to your selfish gains. That's what you do. And you get people to agree with you, not always because they agree with you, but because of who you are and how you know them and what you have on them. I often wonder, what the hell does Trump have on members of Congress? What does Vladimir Putin have on Donald Dumb jackass Trump? During slavery, they would line slaves up, male, female, a lot of times buck ass naked. There was a list. We went to visit some prison plantations in Mississippi about 3 years ago, me and my sister, Bernadette Winbush, and her husband, Tony. And when we got to one mansion, it was as if this was still 1912. A maid answered the door. She was black. And I thought it was some kind of play. That's how they do it. But I quickly learned that no, she is the maid. She had on the maid uniform. When we were getting briefed on certain things as far as slavery is concerned, they handed all of us some cotton and a piece of paper that was laminated. And it had the slaves' name, real slaves, had their names there, how much they weighed, and what they were worth, and what they were good at. They were nothing but commodity, inanimate objects. And that's what you and I are tonight. There is an absolute devastation that's getting ready to come. It's coming. There's nothing that we can do to prevent it. You can't tell it to go back. You can't say, peace, be still. You can't. They showed a picture today of a little boy in the middle of the street. I don't know what city or state. And the caption read, he was praying for the coronavirus to leave. Well, he can get up off his goddamn knees, because that's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's not. This is a serious issue within the United States right now, especially when you have jackasses speaking and lying. Today, an individual was terminated by Trump. I'm trying to find his name. He was terminated because he went against, I'm going to find his name in just a minute here, what Trump said about this drug that he's been promoting for a while for the coronavirus. He disagreed with what he said, Trump's false facts statements. It's not true what he's saying. He's lying. Basically, they have taken an eraser where it was, hypothetically, 20,000 deaths a day. And because of social distancing and Trump, we now only have 12,000 a day dying. Well, we can play with numbers all goddamn day long. But why would Trump lie? I think you know why. So I'm trying to brainwash you into thinking that the virus is leaving and less people are being infected with the virus. So now we can open up to save the economy. That's why it's confusing, because CDC says one thing, World Health Organization says one thing, Trump says a bunch of lies. I told you a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, this would be the week when Trump would come and say things are getting better, and that's what he's doing. Things are getting better. But in actuality, things are getting worse. The second wave of the coronavirus is due within months. It will come during winter, flu season. So you have the flu to deal with and the coronavirus. That's a deadly combination. Both of these roaming the earth at the exact same time. If one city had a low infection rate, that's great. That's great. If, however, we open up the government entirely too soon, here's what's going to happen to that city with a low rate. Overnight, thousands will be infected with the coronavirus. We don't create a problem to try to fix a problem. We don't know a lot about the disease. It tricks us. We think it's going one way, it goes another way. What we thought we knew yesterday, we found out, no, that wasn't it. That's why you keep seeing things about symptoms changing. The 6 feet went to 13 feet because we just don't know what we need to know about this virus. The Centers for Disease Control tweeted earlier today, you can help slow the spread of the coronavirus by practicing social distance. And when you're going out, cover your face with a cloth. Now, that tweet, that statement is contradictory to what dumbass Trump is telling us, that everything is fine. And in actuality, it's not. If you would listen to the experts and stop firing them and stop saying #mute-expert, we could see some progress in this. We might. But the powers that be don't know shit. They're money hungry. And anything they come out to say is going to be a lie. We got to get the United States back open. %76 believes opening up the United States too soon is deadly. More deadly than it is now. 66% of Americans were more concerned with social distancing guidelines being lifted too soon or not lasting long enough. Simply put, more Americans believe that we should not, because we're not ready to open up the United States. But when we do this, one thing we must prepare for, and I know we can't because we're not ready, is a bloodbath. The streets will be pouring with blood. I don't know how anyone that don't understand the virus could come and say, well, let's open up. We don't know shit about it. So when certain leaders worry about the economy, that should tell you something, especially if you voted for the one that's speaking. That should tell you that your life don't mean a goddamn thing to him or her. I said what I needed to say to get in office. You did good. Thank you for voting for me. But fuck what you have to say. People are ready to go back to work. I don't doubt that. But we cannot let protest cause us to do the wrong thing just because of the almighty dollar. Here his name is. His name is Dr. Rick Bright. He was head of the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority. And they fired him today because he went against what Trump was saying about the miracle drug that was going to kill the coronavirus. And for that, he had to go. So how can you trust a government like this? How can you? Do you know what's going to happen when it opens back up? More deaths. Funeral homes will soon be complaining. Medical personnel, first responders, they already complain. But when you hear funeral homes complaining that it's getting rough on them, we have a serious problem in the United States. It's past 911. Again, as I said, there is absolutely positive, unquestionable, no intellect in protesting the stay-at-home orders in the street and opening up the United States entirely too soon. Attorney General Jackass Thomas ass Barr, he says stay-at-home orders are equal to house arrest. Stay-at-home orders are equal to house arrest. I don't give a fuck. This is a pandemic. This is not a cold. This is not allergy. This is not sinus. And if states do not open up fast, he is threatening to sue that state. If I said these are some very diabolical people, it would be an understatement, and you would probably agree. There's a new strain within the coronavirus that came out today, and I didn't have time to come back and look at it like always. I was running late, but we shared it on our Injustice page, and it's very, very disturbing. We also learned today that coronavirus may also be found in your toe. A skin condition appearing recently in children and young adults who have had absolutely no symptoms whatsoever may now be infected with the coronavirus. They're still doing some research on it, but it came out today. It causes lesions or potential bumps and sometimes frostbite-like areas of purple, blue, or red, discoloration in toes, and sometimes in fingers. That right there would tell me if I had an inkling on opening up my state. That right there, you can't do it. You can't do it. Not to mention, we're being told the worst is just ahead of us. There are hidden agendas behind opening up the United States too soon. If you do that, a lot of us will die. And you don't have to worry about the economy, because won't too many of us be here to pump a dime into it, because you're killing us. Trump and all the governors that wants to open up the United States right now should be charged with homicide, because that's what you are getting ready to do. You motherfuckers, for the most part, you're not exempt from it, but from the most part, you guys are great. Y'all good. Y'all set. Y'all fine. You're trying to keep the money coming in, the money coming in, the money coming in. Tomorrow night, bid the Lord willing, we're going to look at the economy. I'm going to tell you what it was, where it is, and what's going to happen to it. Now, the Centers for Disease Director said in an interview with the Washington Post, he said a second wave of coronavirus could be even more devastating than the first one. Federal and state officials, I'm going to say it again, federal and state officials better get ready. That's what he said. He didn't say better, I put better in that. But he said, get ready. It's not a case of will it come to your area. The issue is, when will it arrive? It's coming. You can't stop it. It's coming. People understand this. This is about the money game for some people. They don't give a fuck about your health. They don't. I have money, big money, invested in the economy, in my business, and in stocks. I'll be damned if I let the coronavirus come and break me. I've worked too hard for what I have. So, simply put, I don't give a fuck about a life. I need your money. I need your money. That's it. And carry your ass. At a time like this, here's what we need. Seriously, we need people in office, people in the right position that knows how to handle this the way it should be handled. Now is not the time to have a clown and a circus in the White House and in Congress. This virus came at the wrong time, but there's nothing we can do about it. I wish, if this makes any sense, the virus had came during the time that President Barack Obama was in office, or even George Bush. They would have acted in an expeditious way once they found out what was coming. They may have relayed some of that information to the public, and they may not. But I promise you one thing. If you look at their history, they would have done the right thing. It's not about Republican or Democrat, white or black. It's about humans. That's what it's about. More disturbing news again. David Beasley is the director of the United World Food Program. He told us today that the world, not the United States, that the world is on the brink of a hunger pandemic. And it's going to happen within months. Now, if I stop right there and end the show, I think you've heard enough if you was in agreement with opening up the United States. Or at least I hope you've heard enough to say we can't do it. So imagine what else they know that I don't know and you don't know. But knowing this handful of information right now, anybody in his or her right mind, regardless of their bank account, should be in total disagreement with opening up the United States. There's going to be a shortage on caskets. Mark my word. It's coming. When they were running for office, they listened to you. They visit some of your homes. They came to your church, kissed your snotty nose babies that had pamphlets that was fully loaded. and told you what they would do for you to make things better, and shook your hand and left out, and just as soon as they left said, fuck them. Why? You said whatever needs to be said to get what you need. It's kind of like this here. A man for an hour between two thighs, a man will say any goddamn thing. If he promised he would give her $100 for her stuff, and she's fucking stupid and don't get it up front, after he gets off, he throws her $30. She said, oh no, baby, you said 100. Bitch, you want the 30 or what? You see my point? You see my point? Just because you don't think something is going to happen does not change the fact that it will happen. And the truth is the truth, whether you believe it or not. We all, black and white, must stop sleeping with our eyes open. The virus will stop when the virus stops. You cannot tell the virus when to go. You cannot tell the virus where to go. Right now, we are all being held hostage by coronavirus. And things are only about to get worse. Another reason why we should not open up the United States 100% right now. In Ohio, 2,000 inmates test positive for the coronavirus. In South Dakota, more than 700 infections shut down Smithfield Food Meat Packaging Plant. That's scary. That's scary. So, how do you fix your lips to say we should open up? Not only should you not fix your lips to say open up, you shouldn't say, well, let's just ease some of the restrictions. You can imagine what would have happened had we not had those guidelines, and some of us followed those guidelines. So that did help tremendously in listening to what our officials are telling us. And I'm talking about the doctors, Centers for Disease Control, World Health Organization, not what the fuck Trump and his girls are talking about. They're going to sell you a dream. They're going to sell you a dream. The doctor that was fired asked Trump to show him proof that this drug is a miracle drug in the fight against coronavirus. There was no documentation that he could produce. So his ass got to go because he's going to expose us. Dr. Fauci, get your hat and carry your ass. Because you keep bucking the president. I don't know. I just don't think President Obama would have handled it that way. When the briefings come out on this virus, I don't think no White House officials should ever be there. I just don't. Doctors and nurses, medical personnel, that's who needs to be there. Putting Vice President Pence over this pandemic was super fucking stupid. But when they asked jackass Trump why did he do it, he didn't have anything else to do. He's unstable. He's incompetent. He is not fit for that position. He is staining the White House. He has put a stain on the United States. And only racist white people, house and field niggas agree with him. And that's sad. Increased infections will surely come in areas that had a low infection rate. It's going to come when you open up the United States. The second phase of the coronavirus, if you didn't get it this go round, you're probably almost guaranteed to get it, because we're easing the restrictions. What would you rather see safe first, our economy or people's lives? Which one? And it's not enough to sit here and break this down and you say, okay, thanks, blase, blase. That's good. I greatly appreciate it. But that's not enough. You must begin to make phone calls to the people that you put in office. If you put them there, don't you think they have a right? I mean, they should listen to you. You put them there. They wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you. They answer the phone during elections. You know why you can't get some of them now? Because they don't give a fuck. And I've interviewed a lot of politicians, but when I interviewed a guy, God, I can't think of his name. He was running for mayor in Shreveport, Louisiana. I can't think of his name. Somebody here might know it. If you do, put it in there. Anyway, when he came to KOKA, we were interviewing him, and he was giving out his number to the public to call him. Well, after it was over, we talked, and he said, "Oh, this is a throwaway. It's a throwaway," which means you can call me now, but win or lose, this shit going to trash. But I'll do whatever it takes right now to get the seat that I want, that I know I'm not qualified to be in. Again, it's not an issue on whether or not it's going to strike other areas in a profound way. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Rosalind Bolton, thank you so much. Gratefully appreciate you. Love you big time. Now, let's change the subject for a minute. We're going to talk about the new stimulus package. Mind you, this has not been approved yet. But if I was a betting man, I would bet that it's going to pass. It's going to pass. Simply because there are many hidden agendas with this. And some are saying, I don't give a fuck, just send it. And I can understand that, but then I cannot. We're trying to bamboozle you into not only believing in us, but begin to speak about the effectiveness of what we're doing. So the best way, we will send $2,000 a month for about 6 months to every American. No. Let's change that. Up to a year. Up to a year. Up to a year. Trump and his people are doing this for one reason only. They want you to stay focused on the checks that are coming to you, while behind your back, they secretly begin to open up companies. But even if you found out about it, you probably wouldn't say shit. You want the money. And that's it. Don't let money cloud your vision. It's like I tell women sometimes, don't let the dick cause you to start thinking super stupid. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. The new CARE Act. Here's some of what's in it. Now, everybody over the age of 16 will receive a monthly check of $2,000 up to 12 months. This new proposal also will cancel rent and mortgage payments through the duration of the coronavirus emergency. This proposal, this time, will do what the first stimulus package didn't do. Individuals who were excluded from the first round of health checks will now be eligible for this package. Those that were not eligible were high school students, adults with disabilities who were ineligible to receive the stimulus check because they were claimed as a dependent on someone's tax return. So they couldn't get it. T. House, I love you big time. Thank you much. Gratefully appreciate you. Now, let's do something different. Let's make it easier for people to get their money and make it faster for them to get it. They can have direct deposit. They've added, you can have a prepaid debit card, or you could have the money put on in your PayPal account. Every American over the age of 16 that's making less than 100 annually will receive at least $2,000 per month. Married couples making less than $260,000 a year at least would receive up to $2,000 per month. Kids would now receive $500 a month for up to 3 months. Now, here's the best part of the bill to me. A lot of people were not eligible in the first round. So it had some good to it, then it have some bad to it. Now, if you were unemployed last year, or you are currently unemployed, or you did not file a tax return, you are now eligible to receive this money. Simply put, very few people in the United States will be left out. And so I think that's good news. But it also comes with side effects, because we play games all day long. It's like somebody lending you some money because you need it. I remember my mother told me one time, it's not good to accept help from everybody. Even if you're at home and you're starving and your lights are off. Some people you just shouldn't take money from. Hitting the agenda, or they're going to go and brag and say, I had to do this, I had to take that. Sometimes you have to suffer. And believe it or not, sometimes suffering can be good. When I hear parents say, I'm doing this for my kids because I don't want them to suffer like I did, they need to suffer. Because that's reality. Never make it too easy for your seed. There's nothing wrong with struggling. Once you get what you need to get to where you want to be, you appreciate how you got there. People, we must not act like we don't see the pink elephant inside the White House. We can't. Don't let them take you back to slavery and become a bought and paid for nigga and you don't know. I asked my brother, Timmy Lowe, to come on the show tonight. He said he would text me back later. I knew he wouldn't come. I can't never get him on. But I want him on because the brother's deep. The brother's deep. We spoke this morning about this virus, and we spoke about the chip. And we spoke about how children are going to be infected with the coronavirus at a high rate. Or maybe not. Simply put, he said, and others are saying this, when school reopens, you're not going to agree with this, but you're going to feel me just the same. Do not send your kids back to school. Hold that thought. I said, why? He said, well, you know this is part of New World Order. And I agree with that. Whether or not your child is infected with the coronavirus, someone may say that your child is infected with it, and you don't know whether they're infected or not. You have to go with what school officials and healthcare officials say. So you also have two other kids in the house. So this one walked out of your home, got on the school bus, went to school, and you haven't seen them since. Health officials knock on your door. I need to get those two because we got to go and quarantine them because of your other child that has the virus. So what am I trying to say? Don't let them take your children. Don't let them take your children. It is earthly sad and extremely scary where we are right now. It's sad. But it's only going to get worse. You don't have to listen to the federal government when they say open this up and open that up. Okay, still, if it's open, sit still. Don't move. Don't move. This thing is so deep. I mean, it's extremely deep. If you want to continue to get benefits from the government, here's what you're going to have to do. Because we're trying to study the virus and the people at the same time. We have to implant this chip in you. And therefore, when the virus progresses within you, we will get an alert, the government, and we can immediately call you and treat you and save your life. That's going to be a bunch of goddamn motherfucking bullshit. But it could happen. And if it does, I believe that, like I believe the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan has a dream of his white daughter saying, I do to a black man. People, research what the fuck they telling you. You can't just take their word for it because they come before the mics, before the cameras. Stop sleeping with your eyes open. This is a time not only to have family time a lot since we're on lockdown, but don't sit there and do something close to nothing. Start studying the Bible. The virus. Just don't take their word for it. Just don't take my word for it. Fact check my black ass. You have to do that, lest you become gullible all over again. And when a person is easy to please, a lot of times they're easy to fool. You finna go on mass lockdown. Grubhub app that delivered. When they started out, it was just like kind of fancy restaurants. Wasn't no fast foods included. But now fast foods are included. Grocery stores are included. And you think it's wonderful, and it is wonderful, but it comes with a side effect. Here's the side effect. The virus has come back and is more deadly than the first one. Therefore, not only are we putting the United States on lockdown, every neighborhood within the United States will also be on double lockdown. They can't go anywhere. They cannot come out if they want food. Call Grubhub. So what happens then? This becomes the norm. You will not see the norm as you know it ever again as long as you live. This is the new norm. This is it. And it's only going to get worse. People, wake up. We've been fucked. It's scary. If tonight's message pissed you off or scared you, to God be the glory, I've done my job tonight. It's as simple as that. You just can't believe what the fuck they're saying. What we don't know will kill us. Find you a news station that's bringing accurate information. Stay within. Wherever you're getting accurate information from, I suggest you stay within. It's not good to listen to everybody that comes to the mic because they're going to all have something different to say, and you're going to be confused 100%. You don't know who to believe. You must have the chip to get medical attention. If you don't, you can't get it. You can't buy food. You can't work. You can't cash a check. You can't do this. You can't do that. You must have this chip. When George Bush was in office, he gave a speech from the White House, and I think it was C-SPAN that covered it. And you can YouTube it. And he was giving a speech about the world, the economy. And probably less than a minute, here's what George Bush said, is that we have to protect this country. And I'm paraphrasing. We must educate our people. I'm paraphrasing. But here's something I'm not going to paraphrase. He said, we must get ready for a new world order. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It doesn't matter if you call it a conspiracy theory. If it's true, it don't stop it from moving. It doesn't. This has been in the works for decades. Decades. If you ever saw movies, you know, when it was the communist camps, remember how they executed people for disobeying them? That's what's getting ready to happen. It's coming. It's not a question of whether or not it's coming. It's like when. I love you all as always. Appreciate you all tuning in to tonight's live broadcast. If you like what we're doing, I encourage you, please share the videos. If you're financially able to make a donation, the links are out there somewhere. I think Hot Pink may have just put one up as well. I hope, as Paul said in the Bible, well, I'm going to quote him. He says, have I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Do you want to be lied to? Do you want to be entertained or do you want to be informed? Democrats, Republicans, Democrats, Republicans, they're the same. They're the same. They're the same. Simple as that. Tammy, always 100, never fake. I love you too. Big time. Thank you as always for your genuine support, and all of you that continue to support this channel. From my heart to yours, I love you big time, and I thank you. So don't forget, if you can, make a donation. But if you cannot, please share the videos if you believe in what I'm saying. But fact check my ass too. I love y'all. We will see you tomorrow night, be it the Lord willing. And remember this here, the virus will stop when the virus stops. We're going to be the people's cure for what's going on, or we're going to be the protesters' prisoners. Tell it like it is, or don't tell it at all. Good night. Okay, I'm through since